Hello everyone, welcome to another exciting episode of Dayspring Discussions. I'm your host Sean McGahee, and this is a show where we talk about movies, TV, sci-fi, fantasy, comic books. If you geek out about it, we're going to talk about it. You can listen to Dayspring Discussions on iTunes, YouTube, Podomatic, and Patreon. While you're there, go ahead and rate, review, like, subscribe, then head on over to the Facebook group or Twitter account and join in the discussion, guys. Don't forget about the Gmail account, dayspringdiscussions@gmail.com. If you have a question or subject you want me to talk about, hit it up on the Gmail account and I might just get to it, guys. And as always, find me personally on Twitter and Instagram, SlimDayspring12. Well, hello everyone. It is another cloudy morning here in Austin, Texas. It's Wednesday, which means it's New Comic Book Day. So it's always a fun day when it's New Comic Book Day. I haven't gotten to any comics yet, of course. I've been preparing for this show today. Don't know if I'm going to get to any actually before I get to work. I got a few errands I got to run, but I'll definitely get to them, within this week or so, and I'm looking forward to it. But today I'm talking about one thing, of course, and that is a furry little blue guy named Sonic. I went out last night and saw Sonic the Hedgehog. The popular video game franchise has now got a full live-action film starring James Marsden and Jim Carrey. Came out this weekend, did pretty well at the box office actually, especially for a video game movie. And now I'm going to sit back and share my thoughts on it. Just as a little warning, guys, I am going to do a little bit of spoilerish territory. Going to talk about the film, definitely the mid-credit scenes. I'm going to go into that. I'll give you a little warning because really I think that's probably the only spoiler territory is those mid-credit scenes. So I'll give you a little pre-warning before I start talking about those. But I got to say, the more I was getting ready for this show, the more I'm excited to talk about it. So just, of course, to give you a little background history, growing up, we had Nintendo that came out. And I remember the Christmas morning I got my Nintendo. My dad, me, my brother, we spent the morning playing Duck Hunt. We had a little post that we had where we were sniping ducks from. That looked really lame now that I think back on it. I don't remember getting my Sega Genesis that Christmas morning, but I do remember all the hours I spent playing the Sonic the Hedgehog games. We had, of course, Sonic 1, Sonic 2, Sonic 3, Sonic and Knuckles. I think we had the Sonic Pinball. I remember playing it. I'm not sure if we actually had it, but those were kind of the jams. And I always liked Sonic more than I liked Super Mario, mainly because I had a Sega Genesis. I didn't have the Super Nintendo. My buddy Jason down the road, he had both, so if we wanted to play Super Nintendo, we could play that, but I had the Sega Genesis, me and my brother, so I had a bunch of games for that. I remember Streets of Rage 2. I really enjoyed playing that game because there was one player on there that had rollerblades on, and I'm a big rollerblader, so I thought it was cool playing as him. But Sonic, I remember playing hours and hours of Sonic the Hedgehog, so I'm excited for a Sonic the Hedgehog film. Also, if you haven't checked it out, there's also the Sonic animated series that was between 93 and 94. The one that was on ABC. There's two of them. One of them was pretty goofy. This one was actually pretty cool. Takes place in a post-apocalyptic and dystopian future where all life has been oppressed by Dr. Robotnik, and you have the Resistance led by Sonic the Hedgehog fighting back. Steve Urkel himself, Jaleel White, actually did the voice of Sonic. And honestly, the theme song is the best thing about it, guys. I can't say it without singing it, so here we go. Sonic, he can really move. Sonic, he's got an attitude. Sonic, he's the fastest thing alive. He's the fastest thing alive. After I got out of the movie last night, I could not get that theme song stuck out of my head just because it's so awesome. It's one of the great animated theme songs growing up, so I really enjoyed it. But anyway, that was probably the best of the animated series when I was growing up. But of course, like I said, Sonic was my jam. Liked him more than Mario. So when I heard there was a Sonic Hedgehog movie coming out, I said, great, I like Sonic the Hedgehog. But also, it's a video game movie. And for the most part, those suck. Now, I believe it was last year, we got Tomb Raider with Alicia Vikander. That was actually pretty decent. The other good video game movie that I've liked is going way back to the mid 90s, Mortal Kombat, the original Mortal Kombat film. Sure, it's a little cheesy, but I still enjoy watching that. So, where Sonic lies in the video game, movie ranking, it's definitely top 3. I will put it up there with Tomb Raider, and I'll put it up there with Mortal Kombat. I enjoyed this film. I walked into it knowing it was going to be cheesy. From the previews and, the way Jim Carrey was acting, it was about, this cartoon character that was put in the real world. It was going to be goofy. It was going to be kiddie-ish. I understood that going in. And because of that, I was able to take my expectations and keep them realistic. What really boils down to, of course, is Sonic. How charming was Ben Schwartz, doing the voice of Sonic, gonna be? And I thought he was great. I thought the character was great. I thought he was very lovable and likable. So that's really, I think, what made the film work the most. Yes, you had James Marsden in there as the human anchor to, relate to and befriend the character. And the whole movie is about how Sonic finally makes a friend after years of isolation. I get the whole theme of it, but really, yes, it was about what you believe and if you liked this character of Sonic the Hedgehog, and I did, so therefore the film worked for me. And just to back up a little bit, of course, it was last year that we got the first trailer for this film, and it was supposed to actually come out in November. But what happened was people saw the original design they did for Sonic, and fans were outraged. I thought, personally, it looked horrible. I did not like the way he looked. So, after I tweeted about it, and of course many people tweeted about it, I'm sure, the movie developers, Paramount, they decided to take a step back, delay the film a couple of months, redesign Sonic, and really, instead of trying to make him more realistic, they really just made him look more video game-ish, to be honest. And I think it paid off. They came out with a new trailer. People were much more happy with that, and I thought it looked fine. The only thing I don't like about the design of him is the whole time I was watching the movie, his nose just kind of stuck out there. For some reason, it bugged me. The whole rest of it was fine, but the nose was just, something really disturbing about that for me. It just bothered me. But anyway, I love the fact that they went back and redesigned it. I think it really helped with the film and, helped make it maybe a little more successful than it would have been. Now, speaking of the cast, James Marsden, like I said, is kind of the lead of the film, the human anchor to it all, befriends Sonic and gets him where he needs to go in his journey, and also finds something within himself as well that, makes him happy with his life, blah, 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 blah. James Marsden always have a special place in my heart for being the first live-action Cyclops back in 2000 X-Men. I thought he's a better actor, and his character could have done better than what he got. But that's neither here nor there. I remember him also years earlier in the film Disturbing Behavior with Katie Holmes. Really enjoyed that film when I was a teenager as well. So, I remember from back in that day. And, I like the actor, so I was glad to see him in this film that I was hoping to go see. Did a fine job, did what his character was supposed to do, what the actor was supposed to do, and did a fine job in that. The real spotlight, really, as far as live action guys, were on Jim Carrey. He was over the top, of course, and that's kind of what you had to play in this film. It's a movie about a supersonic, alien, really, that is blue and can supercharge things. So, it's already a little bit unbelievable. So take that over-the-top Jim Carrey character, the kind of character he plays so well, and I think he did just a fine job doing that. So I'm looking forward to see what else he does with the character in hopefully future films. Now, the only other real human character we had in there that I think had enough screen time to mention was the one who played James Marsden's wife, Tika Sumpter, who played Maddie. Now, with her, there were scenes where I thought she did a good job. She's not in a lot of the film, I'll give you that. But there are scenes I thought she did fine. There was a scene where he brought Sonic to her sister's house, and they had a private conversation. And I thought that scene was pretty good. There was a noticeable thing, though, where they are collecting Sonic's rings. They're at the top of the tower, and Robotnik shows up with all his drones, and guns are pointed at them. I feel like the actress didn't seem scared enough than what that character should have been. And just something I noticed to where I feel like, the character would have been more scared, and I didn't see that in the actress. So for that, yeah. The rest of the film, I don't really have too many complaints. I mean, like I said, I walked into it knowing what it was going to be, what it was supposed to be. So for that, I get it. Oh, there is one thing, though, was the whole point of the film, of course, was Sonic and Tom were trying to get to San Francisco. And Sonic, at one point was going to go on his own. He ends up running to the ocean. He's not quite sure where San Francisco is, so Tom has to drive him there. That seemed a little odd to me because Sonic, yes, he's been on Earth for a while, and he doesn't know a lot, but I feel like he would know, geography. He moves pretty fast. I mean, he could, move through a bar fight. He can move through missiles flying at him, all that stuff. You'd think he would just take, a couple of minutes and know exactly where all the major cities are in the United States. So the fact that he didn't know where San Francisco was, which I guess was really a main crux of the film, kind of fell a little flat in my eyes. But without it, the film wouldn't have worked, so oh well. Alright, so talking some, not really post-credit scenes, but, mid-credit scenes as I call them. I didn't stay to the very end, so I don't know if there was a thing at the very end of the credits, but I stayed for the two mid-credit scenes. And the first one was Dr. Robotnik. Spoiler, of course, this is spoilers, so if you guys haven't seen the film, pause it, come back. Although this one's not that big of a spoiler. The next one's going to be a spoiler, so hold off on that. But anyway, Sonic has banished Dr. Robotnik to the land of mushrooms, and, he has been there for a while. He's got his big old mustache going on. He looks more like the Dr. Robotnik that we see in the actual Sonic video games. And then, of course, he's got Sonic's quill, or a piece of his fur, and it's charged up again, which it wasn't supposed to be. So he's saying how he's going to get out. And we knew, if there ever was going to be a sequel, we knew Robotnik was coming back anyway. But this kind of gives us an idea of how he might come back. He's a super genius, so of course, he's going to figure out a way to get back to the real world and exact his revenge on Sonic the Hedgehog. So totally understandable there. The other one, this is the one that got spoiled for me because I'm sitting down for dinner a couple nights ago, and my niece, nephew, and my in-laws had already seen the film. My wife went over to see them. She asked how they thought of the film, and then we're sitting down at dinner that night, and my mother-in-law asked, my wife, hey, what did the kids like about the movie? And she said Tails. And I'm like, hello, spoiler. I mean, I hadn't seen the movie yet. I mean, I was a little upset about that part. So anyway, the mid-credits scene, you see Great Hills, is that the name of the town, I think? A ring opens up and Tails comes out and talking about how he's going to be looking for Sonic, of course, and hopefully that Not Too Late can find him, blah, blah, blah. And this, of course, is going to set up a sequel. Tails, I remember Tails in the Sonic the Hedgehog 2 video game. It was my thing where, of course, I was the younger brother. So if we were playing two-player, I had to play as Tails. Much like if we were playing Super Mario, I was Luigi, my older brother was Mario. That's just what it was. Older brother, younger brother, you accept being Luigi, you accept being Tails. That's just how it went in the day. But whenever I would play solo and I was Sonic, after a while it was a fun game to try to lose Tails. Like I would run real fast and stop real quick before a cliff, and then Tails would just fly off, actually. Kind of mean, but also kind of fun. After you play these video games for a while, you try to keep things interesting. So that was something I always did with Tails, so I felt bad for him for that. But Tails, again, setting up those other characters. I played early Sonic. I only got to Sonic and Knuckles. I know there are many more Sonic the Hedgehog video games beyond that. I know there's, some that set up like his whole history in this film. There was a history with Longclaw, which I really didn't know that character or any of the world at the beginning of the film because, like I said, I was Sonic 1 through 3 and Sonic and Knuckles. Beyond that, I stopped really playing a lot of video games, but I still love the character, of course. So I'm not big on the history as far as all that goes, but I know Sonic. I know, like I said, the Saturday morning cartoon. Setting it up for a sequel could be good. I think I'm not sure if you have to bring in a new threat. Obviously, Robotnik's coming back. Who else they could bring in there as a threat? I don't know. But in any event, this film obviously did set up some sequels, and given the success of the film, I think it's a strong possibility that there could be sequels. Now, in all fairness, when I first saw previews for the film and saw that Sonic was coming to the real world, much like how they did the Smurfs and how they did SpongeBob, I hated it. I know, I get it though. I get it because you make a fantasy character, a CGI character, it's more expensive to take him and keep him in the CGI world. They bring him to the real world, of course, because that way you can use stuff that's already been made and stuff that's all around, and it's cheaper to make the film. Plus, you get the whole fish out of water story. I totally get why they did this type of movie with Sonic, with Smurfs, with SpongeBob, with these computer animated or fantasy characters. I get it. I would have much rather have seen him, face off in more like the tone of the old Saturday morning cartoon where he was surrounded by other fantasy character friends, facing Robotnik in a different world. More what I would like to see, but what I got, I was okay with. Again, it's about expectations, knowing what was coming, knowing what kind of it was going to be like, and for that, having Sonic be good as he did brought you into the film. It was going to be, live or die with that character. The redesign, the voice by Ben Schwartz, the personality of the character, I think totally brought me, at least, into the film. I bought it. I didn't, love it. It's not the best film ever for me, but as a Sonic the Hedgehog fan from back in the day, I was satisfied with what I got, and I hope that we will get more of it, of course. Paramount needed a win. I count this as a win, so I think they're going to be planning more Sonic films to come up. We'll just have to wait and see about that, guys. But all right, that is it for me. Time for you to fire back on the social media groups and Gmail account. Let me know what you think about Sonic the Hedgehog, the movie. Did you like it? What did you like? What did you not like? Did you like the mid-credits scenes? Do you think there's going to be a sequel? Let me know, guys. Let's discuss this. Okay, Facebook group, Twitter account, Dayspring Discussions at gmail.com. Find me personally, Slim Dayspring 12 on Twitter and Instagram. And that's it, guys. Hopefully, I'm going to go get a couple comics read before I go to work. I got to deliver some Girl Scout cookies, and I'm hoping to get a new phone today. So I got a lot to do in a short amount of time. So like Sonic, I'm going to speed out of here, guys. You guys have a good week, and until next time, may the Force be with us all.